It makes sense that people would think that if you were going to, bust 4 or 5 times a day, that this might help reduce prostate size. So once your prostate is enlarged like that, going ahead and having these explosions 5 and 6 and 10 times a day is not going to improve prostate size, right? Now, there are studies that suggest that it may decrease the risk of developing a cancer later in life in that area. But what constant masturbation is actually going to do for you is it's going to actually interfere with erectile function, particularly if you're over the age of 50. And what we find in gentlemen that are exploding a few times a day, particularly if you think about it in terms of a refractory period, once you explode, how long is it going to take for you to get stiff again so you can explode again and explode? Doing that too much will, in fact, interfere with your ability to get and keep an erection. Now, taking it one step further, the thought process behind potentially busting a bunch of times throughout the day and that helping your prostate get smaller, it is absolutely not true. You will not see any reduction in size from just busting a bunch of times. And I want you to think about this logistically, right? Your ejaculate in your sperm is not stored within the prostate. Now, the prostate does contribute fluid to the mix of things that actually comes out when you do ejaculate, but it's not stored there. So what you're thinking about in terms of, if I just keep busting, surely it'll shrink because maybe it's swollen because it's just got a bunch stuck in there. It sounds logical, but it just is not the case. Masturbating too much or ejaculating more and more and more is not going to impact the size of an already enlarged prostate. But what could potentially impact the size of an already enlarged prostate is when you're actually massaging the prostate by either getting behind it or under it and helping reduce some of the inflammation that way. But by busting a bunch of times, although it logically makes sense, it will not impact the size of your prostate at all. As a matter of fact, if you have an enlarged prostate and you're masturbating often, you're running the risk of just weakening your erections a little bit because all of that busting is actually interfering with your ability to get hard quicker again. Because here's the thing. I get asked this question at least once a week. Doc, how do we improve our refractory period? After I finish, how can I very quickly go again? Right? So that period between when you finish and when you're able to go again is called a refractory period. And the interesting thing about a refractory period is one of the reasons we think the refractory period exists is because that once you have that explosion, your passion hormone of dopamine actually plummets. So when it's decreasing and it kind of plummets right after that explosion, what we have then is your body needs to kind of get excited in the brain again, right? So what we're basically saying then too is if you're with a partner and you and your partner are having great sex and all of a sudden you explode, now your brain has to get excited again about that same partner immediately, right? And if you've ever played video games or, anything that you've had to conquer, the brain actually, after you've conquered it or solved the puzzle, if it's a puzzle or what have you, the brain just naturally is like a little bored afterwards, right? And that little bit of boredom, as soon as you go, is really kind of what kind of keeps you from having an erection right back after you've exploded. So, of course, there's some other physiological reasons too, but dopamine is a big part of that. So when you're thinking about how can I decrease my refractory period, how can I and then get hard again and then again, the best bet, especially as you age, is to enjoy and delay that explosion until you are done for the day. Until you are done for a few days, actually, right? So if you're on vacation, so to speak, you taking your girl or your guy on a trip and you guys get there And instantly, I think the first thing that happens when we get to the Caribbean or somewhere hot or on vacation period is you're like, okay, let's get into it. Let's do it, you know? And so what happens is if you do it day one, right? And you go all the way, pew, now what you've done is created a situation for yourself where now your body has to figure out how to overcome this natural refractory period that God has built there and put there. And sometimes it's harder than you would think. And so if you're doing it back to back to back when you first get there, what you'll find is by day 5, you're just kind of like, damn, what's going on? What's happening? So then you run into the drugstore, getting some gas station pills or some French version of Viagra, you know, trying to prop things up, when what you coulda, shoulda done is just saved that explosion until day 2. And what happens if you save it is now you're getting them on demand. You know, you're waking up with one. Your body's like, come on, like, can we get one? And you're like, hold on, let's wait it out. Because when you wait it out, you perform better. So if you're into pleasing your partner, if you're into, you know, kind of, you want everyone to get back from the trip and be like, damn, he put it down, then what you really have to do is try to delay it and hold on to it for as long as possible, because once it goes, you just don't know under these new circumstances how quickly you're going to be able to go again. And then if you go and go and go 4 and 5 times within the first couple days, like you did when you're 20, now you've depleted the dopamine and it's really hard to get excited again. Now you got to damn near, you know, bring a third person in to get excited. You know, like you gotta just do all types of things in order to get this excitement going. So you gotta turn on a movie. You gotta do something because you're like, come on. I want to perform. So if you want to perform day after day after day, then what you want to do is delay it and hold it as long as you can so that you can stay woke for the performance, if that makes any sense. Yes. Good. Great questions. Awesome.